Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Crystal Petrie podcast. On today's podcast, I'm so excited about this podcast because Brooke is going to be on here and she's going to talk about AI, something that I personally feel has taken over our life, work, professional, personal, all the things. But Brooke is going to break it down for us and help us as AI really continues to take over. Don't you think, Brooke?
AI is not going anywhere,
No.
but you need to have the foundation in your business in order to let AI help you.
That is perfect because what we were talking about earlier was that you still need the systems, you still need the processes in place in order for AI to be beneficial. And we're going to get into all of that, I promise. So, my first question for you, Brooke, where in the world are you?
I am coming at you today from Tampa, Florida. I'm a Midwestern girl that moved here to stay warm year round.
That makes sense. A lot of people move to Florida for that exact reason. For that exact reason. Okay, so we are here to talk about AI. You are here to educate us on AI and the flow of AI, operational systems, also something called a squirrel syndrome. So, how did you initially get into this space, Brooke?
I fired corporate America in 2014.
Okay.
And in that time, I was an administrative tech person for in the hospitality industry. And I created a lot of systems and a lot of processes to make sure that things were more efficient. Because when you are a single person supporting 10 to 15 other people, you have to do it well, right? And you have to use technology in order to make that happen. And that's how when I fired corporate America and I decided that I was going to go and use my talents for good and not evil, small business owners got me. And that's what has brought me here where I am today, 11 years later.
Okay, when you first started your business, obviously you already had the talent, you had the experience, but when you started your business, what was the approach to organizing the operations?
So when I started my business, I started bootstrap just like everybody else. Finding something simple using the CRMs that are attached to Gmail and stuff like that, as simple as I could because I didn't know what my business looked like yet.
Okay.
Right. And that's the way most people start. They just say, hey, I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to be doing X. And then from there, they have to develop, how am I going to charge people? How am I going to find business? How am I going to fill in the blank? And at the beginning with business owners, that's really what everybody's trying to figure out. And as you go along and you start making some money, you stumble into it. As you're stumbling, something will catch, or you'll get sold something. And hopefully that's the something you need. But 9 times out of 10, it's not the something you need. It's the something that somebody else needs in order to make their paycheck.
Okay, so looking back, you've been in your own business since 2014. When
Yep.
you fired corporate, you started your business in 2014. Looking back, what was the most overwhelming part of that?
Time management. And I'm really good at it. But managing time, managing team, managing clients, managing tasks has always been the most overwhelming, considering over the course of the years, I've worked with up to 30 clients simultaneously.
Wow.
And project managing all of those tasks and team is a huge undertaking. So not only am I running my business, but I am also running up to 30 businesses at a time.
So let's talk about AI. When did you, because for me, AI has always been around, we just did not see it and we were not using it at the rate that we are using it now. Within your own business, Brooke, when did you start using AI? When did you become aware of AI?
So yes, AI has always been around and has been used by the big tech data firms, right? It didn't really get made public until I would say about 3 years ago, when when general, normal, everyday people started talking about it.
Correct.
Right. The influencers that we work with, the influencers in the tech space, started talking about, hey, you can do this with AI and you can do that with AI. Now it's leaping and growing every single day.
Yes.
And it's changing, but it's also being, like anything in our society, blown out of proportion for how we should be using it in our everyday lives. You know, if you think about it like news, when you see something on the news, you can really only take in about 20% of it and know that about 20% of it's the truth. Now, I'm not saying people are lying about AI, because they're not. They're just 80% way ahead of you because they're doing things, and now they've figured out how to monetize it so that they can take your money to teach you something you're probably never going to use.
You said that so directly and so truthfully.
That's the way that all of this has to work, right? I mean, we're here having an honest conversation about AI, and I want people to use it. I want people to embrace it. But I don't want you to think that you have to drop everything and embrace everything and pay thousands of dollars to people to learn to use it when you still don't even know what products you sell and how you sell them and what marketing works and what your metrics are, because those are always going to be the foundation of your business.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about that. People buying AI tools without really understanding how to use those tools, how to implement those tools, but more importantly, how those tools would even benefit them in their business. And for me, when I see the tools, they're always marketed as cheap. You know, $199 here, $599 here, $1099 there. But once you add that up, that becomes more expensive than you thought.
Absolutely. Get one at a time, because I guarantee you don't have time to learn that one, right? It's changing every day. So, like I'm in this space. I'm, teaching people how to do different things, but at the infant crawling level, right? There are people ahead of me. I get the newsletters every day and I folder them. And I've been getting this one newsletter for over a year, and I still haven't been able to have the time to go back and read it, right? So buy one tool and play with that one, right? Use that one and get it to the point where, if it's copywriting, because I know that's where I take people first, right? AI needs to be able to sound like you in order for you to actually enjoy it, right? So many people used to say, I can't have a virtual assistant write my social media for me because it doesn't sound like me. But now they're putting out AI copy that sounds like a robot, and they're happy with that. Like, that's not a thing. So teach your AI to sound like you. Teach it to have your intellectual property so that it can turn around and it can work and help you with your copywriting, your marketing, your social media, and that kind of stuff. Don't be thinking that you're going to go into an AI and have it just be like, put in a sentence, and then all of a sudden your marketing is done and you're going to make $1 gazillion, because it's not going to happen that way. Work goes into everything. As much as people want to tell you that there's an easy button, you still have to do it. Right. You still have to at least get it set up so that it can work for you. And not sound like AI, because people are going to get to the point where, most people are already to the point where if we look at our phone and it says scam likely or spam likely, we don't pick it up.
Correct.
Well, if you or your team haven't done the work when it comes to auto dialers and, you know, text messaging and all of that, if you guys haven't done that work, you are scam likely.
Yes.
And you're spending money on that. And unfortunately, if you don't know what you don't know and your team doesn't teach you what you need to know, then guess what? You fall into the statistic that you're complaining about.
So, Brooke, you said get one. Start out with one, which I think is incredible advice. It sounds like common sense advice, but maybe it's not. How do you know which one to get?
What do you want it to do? What is the first? And this is prioritization in your business.
Okay.
Right. So when you're looking at systems, when you're looking at developing processes, when you want efficiency in your business, when you want to use AI, it all comes down to what are you going to put up as a priority in your business, right? What is the one thing that if you could just never do again, you would get off your plate first? What is that one thing? Now, if that thing is social media, which it is for a lot of people, right? I don't want to have to post on social media all the time, or I don't want to have to create content, or I don't have time to create content, so I just don't, right? Then get yourself a content writer. And so that is where you get into ChatGPT or Claude or any of the AI platforms that you can pay $20 a month for, or you can even get them for free depending on, you know, what level of involvement you want. Mm-hmm. Personally, I use Claude for me and my clients because it gives me the ability to have multiple bots trained in multiple different voices so that I can be that copywriter for my clients. But my clients have to train that person or that employee first, right? So you train your employee and then you can delegate that employee to anybody that understands what you're trying to do. And it's now your social media person can sound like you.
Yes.
Right? So, yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that's just the beginning. Okay. That's the first piece you need in order to be able to start delegating.
What do you think about, because we live in a culture now where it's always hustle, 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 work, work, work. It's like they never want you to take a break, never want you to take a vacation. And even on vacation, that's still working. How has that affected us being able to create systems and operations to help us in our business?
As long as you can think about the systems and the processes and put that in place, mm-hmm. then it gives you the ability to be able to go away. Now, am I there yet? Yeah, no. I still take my computer. I still have that hustle work ethic. I still have all of that. I have not set very good boundaries with my clients and stuff, but you know, I just, over the course of this summer, I spent about 6 weeks in and out of the hospital and different things. And, you know, my team picked up, they kept going, they kept doing things. And, you know, I'm checking email as I can and all the things. So we do all of that and we're going to continue doing all of that. But when you are building systems and processes, it all depends on the person. Some people build it so that they can take a month off. Mm-hmm. And still have that recurring income come in if that's your business model. Some people want to do it just so that they can get to their to-do list, right? Some people do it so that they have consistency. And that's what systems and processes do for all of those things. If my marketing is consistent, then I should have consistent leads coming in. If my follow-up is consistent, I should have consistent leads coming in. If I have an affiliate program and my communication with them is consistent, then I should have consistent referrals coming in. And then from there, now you have to have all of the systems for how to respond, how to follow up, how to retain, and all of that. And all of that's not going to happen in one day, right? Or 1 month, or heck, in most cases, even 1 year. Because there are so many places where things fall through the cracks right now that until you start developing the process and then using the process that's created, you have no idea what's falling through the cracks.
Right. Okay. How does someone know how to create systems and processes? How do you know how to create that?
So it's a lot of, in my case, it's a lot of experience in a lot of different industries and niches on how I help coach my clients through it. And I will tell you how to start. I want you to start looking at every single one of your products. And by products, that means anything anybody would buy with time or money. Okay? So your freebies are products, your paid products are products, your high ticket items are products. Everything that you promote or sell is a product. Okay? So make a list first of all of your products. And most people don't know that they have 20 to 50 different products.
Wow.
When they start looking at, oh, I created this freebie over here and I created this freebie over here and I have a podcast. And a podcast is several products, depending on how you're using it for your business, right? So make a list of all of the products and all of the resources and everything you promote. Then go through and say, all right, what do I have, right? So for a freebie, I have the actual printable thing, right, that I send to people. The process that somebody goes through is they land on a landing page, right? They put in their information. They get a thank you page. Then they should get an email that gives them the deliverable. And then what in the heck is the point of the deliverable? When somebody gets that freebie from you, what in the heck happens next? What are we selling them into? Do we do it well? Are those emails converting? At what rate are they converting? Have I even promoted this thing? Right? When was the last time I did a social post about it? When was the last time I used it on a podcast? That's the process. With a paid product, now instead of it just being a sales tool, it also needs to be a full delivery. So I have people who have 6 week or 6 month programs, and I'm coaching them through, okay, they just gave you their credit card. What in the heck happens next? Well, I'm going to send them their supplements, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Well, great. How do you know to do that? If that's automated, then we need to make sure that you get an email that says, go order this person's supplements. Do they get access to some kind of portal? Do they get this? Do they get that? How do you engage them over the course of that 6 weeks or that 6 months? Because we all know that keeping a client is so much cheaper than having to go find a new one.
It's true. It's true.
But if you take somebody's money and drop off the face of the earth, now you're that person you hate. Right? You don't deserve recurring clients.
Oh, wow. That's
right?
Very in your face.
That's the thing. Don't drop off. Don't be that contractor. And I'm sure lots of people listening are like, oh yeah, I had that one person that I paid and then they never answered an email, or they never picked up the phone, or they never booked the coaching calls, or they didn't show up to, do the landscaping, or they didn't show up to do my roof and then I had to, blah, 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 take action, right? We don't want to be those people as small business owners, and we have no intention of being those people. But when life gets busy, when things happen, you fall off. The consistency isn't there. And so if you can build this consistency into your processes, now you don't have to rely on your brain being there every day. You can land in the hospital and the emails still go out.
Yeah.
Right? Because you didn't have an intention, and then you don't have to spend a gazillion years giving people's money back and all of the things when you don't have it because it's already gone paying your staff and paying your people and all the different things, right? So processes help us be consistent when consistency isn't a fact of life.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay. What is squirrel syndrome? This was something when we initially had our onboarding conversation. We just really got into the conversation. You are talking about squirrel syndrome. What is squirrel syndrome?
All right. So one of our favorite cartoon companies has a movie called Up. And in that movie, there is a dog, and you hear all the time, we're squirrel, right? Squirrel. And that's what squirrel syndrome is. It's what happens when something new and shiny hits the market, and you're like, all of a sudden you have to go out and buy it because there's a special deal, or the marketers of our world are spending a gazillion dollars to put it in your face every day. And you're just like, oh, I just need to go get it. It's only X, right? And that's the problem with squirrel syndrome is you end up with a lot of stuff. And a lot of stuff that you never use, a lot of stuff that is on subscription, or you only, that X dollar only got it for you for so long, right? And so we end up having it's a collection of things. So this is why you see the Rocket Money commercials, and they're always talking about how many subscriptions, or I'll buy you a new car if you can tell me how many subscriptions you have, right? Knowing darn well that people don't know because they don't look and they don't pay attention to their finances. And that's what happens to business owners. I once had a business owner that had 4 CRMs. 4. And I'm like, how did you get 4 CRMs? Like, do you even log in? Like, we have to go and reset passwords because they haven't logged into these CRMs that they've been paying for years. And the reason that she had given me that she had all of these different CRMs is because she had joined different coaching programs for different things, and they only use that CRM. And so she got it because all of the tools and assets were in that CRM. She didn't bother to learn the CRM. She didn't bother to understand her own systems and processes. She just added a new process from somebody new, which is great. But if you already have a CRM and it's already working for you, then you get that CRM for a month, right? Or during the coaching program, pull everything out of it and integrate it into what you already have. It's manual labor that you or your VA team or anybody who's working with you on that stuff can do, but it's going to save you in the long run and as in money, right? But it's also going to integrate the system so that you learn how the podcast coaching sphere works inside of your business now. You don't have to have 2 different CRMs for that, right? So that's how most of my clients find me or get referred to me, is because they have so many different things happening, and they've got softwares and CRMs and different things all over the place. None of it talks. And so when they have 3 or 4 different lists, my biggest savings that I ever did for someone was $2,500 a month.
What?
We took all of her everything, condensed it all into one system that did everything that she needed it to do and more, took away all the redundancy. She paid me $6,500 to do all of that with me. And her monthly bill was about $600 after that. And it had been $3,100 a month. No,
Brooke.
Yes.
Wow.
That's my biggest. On average, depending on where you're at in your business, it's usually around $300 to $1,000 a month savings.
That's still a lot, especially if you're a small business.
Yep. My goal is always with my onboarding to pay for myself within the first year in savings. So as long as the client is willing to jump in and work with me, and we can get it done in the first month or two of us engaging, then I should be able to get you out of all of your services so that over the next year, you would be paying the same amount. You just pay it to your credit card instead of to the software.
CRM, you've used that acronym several times during our conversation. Explain to my community, what is CRM and what does that stand for?
CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. So there are two versions of this. There's Customer Relationship Management and Marketing Relationship Management. So services like MailChimp and Constant Contact are marketing relationship management. They pretty much just send out newsletters, right? CRMs are things like Keep, Infusionsoft, ActiveCampaign, High Level, Zoho. They have a much more robust system that will help you keep all of your contacts in line, their contact records, be able to make notes, be able to have extra storage space for stuff for those clients. Usually the difference between them is if they have a sales pipeline tool. So whether a sales pipeline tool is kind of, in most cases, how Trello looks. For those who have used Trello, the columns where you have different stages of the engagement. So usually the differentiator is that module between what a CRM is and what a CMM is for marketing versus relationship management. I typically pull people into a CRM to a relationship management because they can do more with one tool. And not all-in-one systems are created equal. They all have great things and they all have great tools, but they're not all created equal. And so we look with every client that comes on with me, we have a call that goes into, I say, we're going to get all up in your business because I want to know every single tool you're paying for. I want to know every single tool that you're using because there's always a discrepancy. And then where you want to be using them and where you want to be in your business, because you need a tool that's going to be able to grow with you if you're 10 times or 20 times the size. Because we don't want you to have to change things because you go a different direction or because you have a massive growth spurt or because you turn on Facebook ads and just go nuts, right? So we want to make sure that where you want to be and what your vision is for your company is also doable in the exact same system.
Okay, why is, and it could just be me, but I feel like it's not, why is squirrel syndrome so prevalent in new startups and small businesses?
Because no one knows what they're supposed to be doing, and so they're easily sold. Right? So you go to a networking event and you're like, this person's over here selling you this, and this person's over here selling you this, and this person's over here selling you this. But they're not telling you what it's going to actually do for you. And they're not telling you how much work goes into making it do that thing. Right? They just say, oh, this is an easy button. One of the giant marketers that's out in the world that you have all seen has a system that, or as a coaching program that says done for you. And it's not done for you. He's marketing it as an easy button so that he can get people in, not honor his guarantee. Because if you would have already read down to the fine print, you would have known that you're getting templates.
Oh.
And templates is a DIY system, right? We're going to give you what's worked for us, and you have to go make it your own so that it'll work for you, right? And then when somebody says, well, these are just templates, how is this going to work for me? It's not my copy. They're like, oh, you can hire our team.
Upselling.
Right? But they sold it as a done for you. They sold it as an easy button. But they gave you the template, not the easy button. Right? And most small businesses or most small business owners are like, oh, shiny. Especially if you bought the ticket to be in the room.
Right.
You know, I've had business owners in the past call me or get referred to me. Most of my people come from referrals, and because I work with a lot of coaches and consultants. And I had somebody who was referred to me who bought a book deal at one of those in the room sell from stage conferences, and didn't read the contract. And so she wrote her book. And then she wanted to write another one, and she was basically under lock and key for 5 years.
She couldn't write another book?
She couldn't write another book unless she paid them another $60,000 to be the editor.
What?
She couldn't even self-publish without getting sued.
Wow.
And it's because she didn't read it. And when you are rah-rah in the room, most people are not reading those contracts.
Wow. Is there a such thing as an easy button when it comes to AI systems, processes? Is there a such thing?
No, there's not. There are things that make it easier. There are people that make it easier. Mm-hmm. Our goal here at My Clone is to try and keep you out of overwhelm. That's the goal, right? So it's baby steps, and baby steps for you might be 1 call a month or 1 product a month. Baby steps for somebody else is I need to be hearing from you every 15 minutes, right? Because I'm working faster than you are. And we have those, you know, I have a person right now that literally had the meeting with me, said, send me the invoice. Let's get this going. And within 20 minutes, I had all of their login information, all of their 2-factor. We were in, and we had everything tasked out to the team within the day.
Wow.
And then I have some people that take 6 months to get me credentials after they've paid the invoice and signed the contract. And I have to keep bugging them, right? Like, I want to get this job done for you, but you need to send me your password.
Yes.
You know, and so everybody is completely different. And so the easy button is never an easy button the way you think it is. Now, if you want a turnkey business, you should be buying a franchise that has already done everything and will tell you, here's your marketing, here is what your metrics should be, here are the people to hire, here, you know, everything is given to you as a process. Because franchises have to go through their systems and their processes, and then they have to get that approved by like this government franchising board in order to be a franchise. That's a whole nother can of worms. When somebody wants to do a franchising or a licensing model, we've been through that too, right? But if you want the easy button, go buy somebody else's business that already has all of that in place. And in most cases, that's going to be a franchise.
Wow. Okay. So stepping away from the franchise, what are your feelings or thoughts on this question? Just actually popped into my head. What are your feelings and thoughts on the virtual assistants? I know that's become kind of a big deal here lately in conjunction with AI, so to speak.
So that's what my team is.
Okay.
So I do things a little differently here. We have project manager led accounts. Okay. So with us, you're hiring a virtual assistant team, but you will never talk to a virtual assistant. We manage our own team. Okay. We have graphic designers, web designers, high level experts, automation, copywriters, social media. We've got all of that on the team. But what I found when I started this back 11 years ago is people don't know what they need, and they don't know how to train people. And in a lot of cases, they don't know how to treat people. And so in the VA world, the constant struggle is turnover, right?
Okay.
So my people leave me, or they leave the company, and then I have to train somebody all over again. And, if somebody, you have to keep hiring. And that has always been an issue with small business owners, is the hiring process, the training process, and then the turnover process. But there was the same word in all three of those things, right?
Process.
And so if you do not have a written process for what that looks like and what you need somebody to do, then a virtual assistant isn't going to work for you, just like somebody sitting next to you in your office isn't going to work for you. Right? You're going to find them playing on their phone. You're going to find them doing the things, all because they don't have task list of what they need to do. And they're going to constantly, even with me, I have people message me all the time, or my team. They'll be like, hey, I'm out of tasks. What's next? Right? And I'm like, oh crap, now I got to go through and figure out what in the heck I can give them to do.
Yes.
Right? So over the course of the years, I have a whole task list that's just sitting there. That's all of my, when we have time tasks. And so now we have our active tasks for our clients, and then we have the backup tasks. So when somebody says, hey, I need something to do, I'll be like, go check out the backup task and pick something.
Yes.
Right? So you have to know what you're doing in your business. You have to know what somebody can do for you. And if you don't have processes in place, it's really hard to have somebody do something for you without you being the middleman.
Now, we've spoken about systems and processes throughout, and people, the squirrel syndrome, buying the new thing. How do you get people to only pay for what they use?
By understanding why they're paying for it. Right? I can't stop you from going to buy something random. I can't. And I have people now I've trained a lot of my clients that have been with me for a long time. I've trained them to be like, ooh, shiny. Let me talk to Brook first. Right? So I'll get an email or I'll get a text message. Hey, I'm looking at such and such, and I think it would fit well, or I think I need this. And so even if I don't know what it is, I'll go look it up. And I can easily take a look at the features and benefits, or look at what it's supposed to do, and be like, you already have that. You're just not using it. Right? And that saves them a crap ton of money just by taking a second and being like, squirrel. Oh, wait, I have to feed the squirrel if I have the squirrel. Right? And so if that's where we go with that is, in most cases, you already have, well, not in most cases. If you already have a set system in process, in most cases, you can add on to that, or you should be able to add on to that if it's something that system doesn't do already. Or you can use what is already there potentially to do the same thing. So it just depends on the how and the why. And a lot of times I'll be like, what is the point? Right? So you want to add this feature. What are you actually thinking you're going to do with it? Because sometimes that comes down to adding an email or adding a workflow of automation instead of having a whole new software to do something. Right? So that's how we do that.
How do you evaluate your system, your process, your AI tool, and say, okay, this is perfect for me, or I already have this workflow, I already have something that's sending this email out? How do you know, this is the right one for you?
If it can grow with your vision. We talked about that just a little while ago.
Yes.
So if I was doing 10 times what I'm doing now, is this the system that's going to take me there? Is this the system that's going to be able to handle me when I get there? Right? That's what to think about. So if you have a system and you're like, man, I wish it fill in the blank. Oh, I wish it fill in the blank. I wish it fill in the blank. And they're not actually, the software isn't keeping up with you, right? Or the service behind the software isn't keeping up with you, then maybe it's time to think about a new system. But that's a whole big process in itself, especially if you're going to go at it alone. And then if you don't know what you don't know, right? And all you know is what you have in front of you right now, then it stands to reason you should probably be looking for someone who can help you at least with a consultation. I'm sorry. Who can help you with at least a consultation to be like, this is possible. If you wanted to X, this is possible. And go that route. And even if someone says to you, this is possible, but you have to pay me $1 gazillion to set it all up for you. And then you'll never know how it works. That happens a lot. I would much rather you have a coach that gives you a strategy. Like, I know exactly where I want to go with my business. My coach and I have this all worked out, etc. And then my clients bring that back to me and say, now, how can I make my system fit this and beyond? Right?
Because the goal is not to stay where you are. That makes so much sense, Brooke. The goal is not to stay where you are. The goal is to progress and grow and move and get more clients.
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I call myself a business systems and process architect and not a strategist, right? My strategy is all the implementation of your growth, right? Where do you want to go and how can I help you get there with tools and processes? And then I teach you how to use the tool and the process so that you can manage your own. I like to work myself out of a job because
that's a first.
Hundreds of thousands of people that need me. And this is not being solved by every virtual assistant out there. It's not being solved by every online business manager. It's not being solved by coaches and consultants. There are not many people that have a whole business just because they like being in the weeds of figuring out other people's problems, right? Most people don't want to do that. They don't want to handle the tech. They just want to be like, go and do this. And then they have an easy button that they push and they make money from that.
That we have discussed does not exist. Does not exist.
So yeah, you're either in the world of selling or you're in the world of servicing. And we know as entrepreneurs, you're always in the world of both. It's just where you spend your time.
Yes.
Right? And some people just spend their time creating things that never get sold. Right? And so that's where we fit, and that's where we go here. So yeah.
Brooke, I feel like you're the perfect person for this next question because you are really in both worlds, if I'm understanding this correctly. What are your thoughts on automation, artificial intelligence versus human interaction and human touch?
AI should be an extension of what you want to do. It should help you make that process more accessible, more consistent. There always has to be a human element. I think we talked about this a little bit at the beginning. You don't want to be the person that you hate. Right? You don't ever want to fall into the category of, oh, I can't get any, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to a robot. I want to talk to a person.
Yes.
You don't ever want to be in that category. And so many people are doing AI so badly that instead of it saying, just give me somebody who speaks English, right? Which you, over the course of the history, stuff moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Call centers move different places, and you hear that. Well, now or lately in the last 10, 15 years, it's been the automated systems. Press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Now we just want to talk to a human. That's not going away, right? It's just not. And so now when you have the AI telephone answering systems, and it sounds like a person, and now people are like, is this a person? Is it not a person? They're going to figure out how to very easily bypass with keywords soon, right? In the automated system, it's usually pressing 0 unless somebody's caught on. Right.
So you keep saying representative.
Exactly. And you get there. Well, when I answer the phone, I say, this is Brooke. If you don't say hello, it trips up, because the person that created that AI that is calling you
mm-hmm.
is listening for the word hello, because it's data, right? So if I were making an AI,
mm-hmm.
I would have there be 40 different words that it was listening for.
Yes.
Right? Because it's listening for somebody to answer the phone. I would have it be hello, or this is, or my name, or what do you want? Right? And then so that the AI would trigger on all of those things. But most easy buttons that are sold
mm-hmm.
are not sold with more than one word. Hello. Right? So if you don't know to think about it, and you don't hire somebody who's thinking about these things for you,
mm-hmm.
the easy button, you've just been sold. And you may or may not be able to make it better.
How can small business owners, maybe even large business owners as well, learn to trust their systems and their processes? Because I feel like you buy the one thing that's going to work with you, that's going to grow with you. But as a small business owner, especially, you're so used to doing everything yourself. How can you learn to trust the system, learn to trust the process, and take your hands off of it, so to speak?
Use it. So use it, be in it. When, for those small business owners that are here, when you did have your corporate job, you logged into your computer system every day.
Yes.
Right? You did all the same things. That doesn't mean when you go in to be a business owner and do work for yourself that you don't have a computer system anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is your computer system. This is your sales. It is your metrics. It is your marketing. It is all of the things that you need it to be. And so the difference is you aren't given it. You have to create it. Yeah. Right? Just like you are creating everything else in your business because it's yours. Those big corporations didn't get there by not doing anything. Right? You have to be instrumental in understanding what your business does, what your software does, what you need to do to keep it rolling. And then you need to know, what team members do I need in order to be less hands-on? Right? And then you hire the people to log into the computer system and do those things for you.
Yes.
So that you can be a business owner rather than the technician doing it.
Right. And it goes back to, working on your business versus in your business, things like that. That's what it goes back to, and it boils down to. Okay. So I have a few more questions for you, Brooke, and then I'll let you go. I understand from our conversation that whenever you're selecting an AI tool, systems, processes, that there are specific questions you need to be able to ask yourself. So with that in mind, what would you say are like the top 3 tools or systems that you would recommend someone to use on a general scale, of course, not knowing the specifics that, they would need. And let me just throw this caveat here. Brook nor myself, we're not being paid for whatever Brook is about to say, whatever advice she is about to give, and whatever brands she is about to name. We are strictly having a conversation to help you who are listening. So with that caveat being said, Brook, go ahead.
All right. So a CRM system that does as much of the stuff as you need it to do. Okay. I personally am a high level agency. So the clients that I work with are all on high level with me because I can support them better that way. So there's that. Then the project management tool. So this is how you manage the work that you need to do. And so there are systems out there like Monday and ClickUp. I'm a ClickUp user. Some people use Trello. Those are project management tools, right? And that just depends on how much you need to get in and you need to do. There are several in the construction industry. There are several in every industry. They have their industry specific ones. But a CRM that does what you need it to do, and a project manager tool that does what you need it to do, and then an integrated marketing system. So whether that is your website on WordPress and everything kind of gets run with plugins, or, whatever there, something for marketing. Now, my clients with high level, they have the marketing, they have the scheduling, they have the CRM, they have a lot of different tools all in the one program, which is why I use it. Something that I have told people from the very beginning is the system that you choose needs to play well in the sandbox with others. So you may have heard open API, you may have heard cloud-based, you may have heard integrations, or terms like Zapier, or different things like that. Those that is has to be. So in the world of today, integrations are a must-have, because every tool is not going to do everything you want it to do. And I always said I never really wanted to tell a client no. But if they were using a system that didn't integrate and their system didn't do the thing that they want, I would have to say no. So I have always used a tech stack that I knew I could build anything for. And so for me now, that's high level, and it has an open API. So developers all over the world can create tools for it, or can create that bridge between one tool and another so that I don't have to tell them no anymore.
Okay.
That's the scalability factor.
Scalability. You know what, Brook? You have been amazing on here. I mean, you've given me knowledge and information that I had never even heard of and known about. What is your intention in this space of simplicity? I would say making people's lives more simple on the professional side. What is your intention?
Just to keep moving forward and help as many small business owners as I can get to a point where their business is scalable and exitable, making their business more valuable as they create their legacies.
And my final question for you, Brook, who do you think would make a great guest on the podcast? But you have to help me get them on.
So I'm already working on this for you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Barb and Maggie from pursestrings.co. They are changing the world of finance for women. And they are educating women on finances. They are working with professionals so that they can become more, they can work better with women and finances, because we all know that there's a discrepancy, and
Yes.
we're trying to bridge the gap. So they are on a mission to do that, and you should be hearing from them soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Brook, for being on the podcast and educating myself and educating my community. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure, and I love educating and making sure people have what they need in order to move forward.
Excellent. And to my community, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. You can get Brook's podcast on YouTube Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. And remember, you always have time to listen and learn on the go.